The devil's in the deep end. Let's talk about Night Swim. Oh, this was an interesting one. The things you never think you'll see movies about. The plot, and it has one, opens with a prologue, a backyard swimming pool consuming a young girl. Undercutting this moment is a similarity to a moment in Ace Ventura. It's not Snowflake, Jim Carrey screamed.
It's not Snowflake!
If you are familiar with that, as I am, fear that scene will be inextricably linked to that in your mind, and you're not going to have any trouble making a connection with a movie that was definitely not trying to be funny. Although I feel like even if I hadn't seen Ace Ventura, this imagery of a girl thrashing around, being dragged around on top of the pool is pretty goofy. No matter what. But anyway, we jump forward in time, and the family buys the house with the backyard, with the swimming pool that ate the girl. The father of the family is Ray Waller, played by Wyatt Russell. The mother, Eve, played by Kerry Condon. And we find a series of events that lead them to get into the pool parties, exercise for rehabilitating Ray from his MS, which took him out of the baseball scene, and just any excuse the movie can think of that would put people in a pool diving for pennies. That's one. All of that good stuff. And clearly something is not right with this swimming pool. Shadowy things appear, all sorts of hobgoblins and whatnot. Stuff you generally don't want to see or expect to see in a family swimming pool. And of course, traditional climax leading up to things that people have to deal with and all that. I'll get into that a little further in just a moment. Now, strong points. I will say, I never thought I would say the following sentence. I found the Marco Polo sequence quite creepy. There was some real tension there that I enjoyed that. Frustratingly, it came after about half the movie was over, and there were some weak points enough. It was very hard for me to be invested, but I think that was a shine out moment. There was also a tea sequence, I think it was tea, where Eve goes to visit the previous owner of the house and has a dialogue with her. Started out tedious, but toward the end had some fun stuff happen. Now, it is interesting seeing Wyatt Russell, just the resemblance to his father, Kurt. The family resemblance also almost makes me want to, or credit Wyatt with Kurt's roles or something. It's an interesting psychological and kind of parasocial thing happening there. I can't fault any of the actors in this cast. This is based off of a 4-minute short film of the same name that writer-director Bryce McGuire also made a decade ago. Man, a haunted swimming pool is a tough, it's an uphill climb to make a movie about. Certainly one that takes itself seriously. Horror lives in the darkness. Tight shots with shadows so your mind fills in the things that go bump in the night. And it's really tricky to make stuff that goes bump in the day scary. And I will, that's a brave thing whenever any horror movie tries to do that for me, and I admire that. Unfortunately, the times where Night Swim tries that didn't really connect with me, but was interesting. So one of the big problems for me, the thing that made this very difficult for me to connect with, was there was a lot of info dumping in the dialogue. We're told that Ray Waller has a former baseball career. We're told he has MS. We're told all this information is just dropped on us and not even in scenes that have relationships where characters are personally interacting with each other. There is a real estate agent from whom we learn that Ray Waller is famous. There is a doctor from whom we learn he is sick. There is a pool technician who says a few things about water. And water is surely, there's no shortage in things that can be scary about water. I have the pool element is so silly that I almost feel like this could have been a much better horror comedy than it actually was. It takes itself very, very seriously, and I feel like that really just works against it. In the hands of a Shane Black or a Quentin Tarantino, this would obviously be an R-rated picture rather than PG-13 that it is, but I feel like just some snappier dialogue and some more nuance and detailed characterization could have gone a long way to generate sympathy in these characters for me that just did not happen. There's a son and a daughter. I don't know, it feels like there could have been just one child, and we could have gotten away with that. There are plot threads that get started and then nullified within moments of our seeing them. After the son and daughter both have had first-hand experiences with the malevolent force in their backyard swimming hole, the daughter demeans the son for having the idea of telling their parents. I feel like calling this contrived would be an understatement. I think contorted is probably a better descriptor in terms of just, this is obviously a screenwriter forcing a conflict flying in the face of anything that would be plausible within the circumstances in which these characters find themselves. And furthermore, that scene is just, that plot is nullified moments later, after a pool party scene where the son goes and tells the mom, hey, the pool is haunted. There is a romantic subplot leading to an extremely awkward kiss that might be played for laughs in the movie theater if anyone goes to see that this weekend, I don't know. But it's addressed once, and we never see the boyfriend again. So, I don't know, this did not connect with me. This is not a movie for me. I will tell you one thing that I think is, it's so committed to its lore and explaining the rules of the malevolent force in the pool, of explaining how the villain is doing things and why the villain is doing things. And to the point that I feel like it forgets to develop the human relationships of the characters in a very meaningful way. I think Robert McKee talks about turning exposition into ammunition. This script would have done very well to take that to heart. I think, I think Bryce McGuire is a talented director. I hope he continues to grow as a writer. So I want to get into spoiler territory now. You have been warned. Spoilers follow. Pause if you want to see the movie, or keep watching if you've already seen it or don't care. So the pool has to eat somebody, and in return it grants a wish. So at the beginning we see the person die, the child die, and we learn that her mother had traded her in exchange for the health of her son, I think. Maybe it was just long life or whatnot. Since Ray Waller's character has MS, this degenerative disease that has taken him out of the baseball game, he has the desire to restore his body, and the movie ultimately offers him the choice of trading his son's life for restoring his body, presumably to become a successful baseball player again. That premise kind of hamstrings this movie, because that means nobody dies in the positive space of the movie. We see the girl die at the beginning, but she's not really connected to any of the main characters, and then we just see previous people that were eaten by this body of water. We never really get to know the ghosts, and I feel like that there was never anything at stake until Wyatt Russell sacrifices himself at the end to restore his son's body. There are moments in it that felt like, okay, ripples in the water, that's cool, but it's kind of Jurassic Park. There's another moment that felt better exercised in it. Just a handful of things that seem to reference other, probably stronger movies don't really do enough. Water going backwards is a little bit overused in the movie to me. It's a very clearly very obvious what's happening, which, I don't think it's tricking anybody, but it's just, I don't know, it's something of a hokey effect. But there are moments where it shines, where the effects are interesting and cool ideas are being explored and how the water moves and whatnot. All in all, I cannot recommend this picture. If you're a horror fan, maybe your fate is already sealed, but I think there are much stronger movies to watch over the weekend. But anyway, enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell everybody and all that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.